How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to We Are the Hansons, where we talk about family, we talk about life, we talk about marriage, we talk about pretty much everything on this channel. If it's happened to us, it's going to be on this channel. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not. But I am Jeremy Hanson, the husband of Maya Hanson. And, once in a while, I will do a show on here. Sometimes I'll do one with her. But there are some things that are very hard to teach. And I want to talk about one of them today. Teaching other young men about what it requires. Not about what you want, but what it requires to be a good husband and a good father. I personally think that the world would be a much better place with a strong father and a strong mother in every home. And the only way we can do that is to get back to the basis of what it really is to be good at it, to want it, to love it, to do the things that I have been trying to do. Now, number one, I would say this, folks. I would say that you're always on a journey. Literally, you're always on a journey to get better. I do a political podcast too, but I also do probably, this is my favorite podcast, and then I have a comedy one, and I do 4 different ones. But my favorite is about business, and I talk about success, and I talk about happiness all the time in that podcast. But the thing that I say about that is that success and that happiness, that is not a destination, okay? It's the journey. It's all part of the journey. So you're constantly learning. You're trying to get better all the time. There's so many things that you need to learn, like patience and how to learn and, love, empathy, all these different things that you're always constantly evolving in your journey of life with. And today, there's some simple things that I wanted to talk about being a father and a husband. Okay. Number one, you got to know that you're never going to be perfect. You are human, but it is your job to be the best role model for your wife first, then for your children, and then for your community. You can't believe how many different times we have other kids come over, and the kids, you can just see it in their eyes. You can see it in their face that they are yearning so bad for a father, that they want a father. They want that connection. They want the little things they see. I learned a lot from my father and my mother. I learned a lot from my grandfathers and my grandmothers, mostly good. And I try to be the best that I can be, and I try to prepare. It's really hard as a father because the people that you want to spend all your time with, your children, you're literally preparing them to spend all their time without you. And, that gets really, really hard sometimes. I mean, thinking about that. I saw a short video where the guy says, what's the best part about being a dad? And he says, watching your kids grow up. And then he says, well, what's the hardest part about being a dad? And it literally is watching your kids grow up. I've got 13 kids, 7 sons, 6 daughters. And it makes you have a lot of pride, and it makes you have love, and it makes you have those things, seeing them grow up and become good men and women, productive in society, happy, successful, chasing their dreams, living life. I mean, literally living life. And, I don't agree with all the people that write books about this kind of thing, about being a father and what I want my kids to have. Do I want my kids to be happy? Absolutely. Do I want them to be successful? Absolutely. But am I doing enough? And I ask myself this every day. What could I do better? And am I doing enough to make sure, to ensure that I am setting them up to be successful, to be happy? Do you guys ever think like that? I mean, and do you ever ask yourself, am I good enough? I mean, when things get mundane and you keep doing the same things over and over again, do you ever just stop and say, what can I do better to be a better man? Now, for me, it's a little bit easier than most. Like some guys, they find out that they're going to have a baby and their whole world gets turned upside down. You know, maybe it wasn't part of the plan. Maybe it wasn't goals. But it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't supposed to happen. And it's part of responsibility. Part of being a good father and a good husband is responsibility. But I think the number one most important thing is just time. Your most valuable asset in the world forever is your time. So be there when it matters. Okay, not just when it matters to you, but when it matters to them. My oldest daughter the other day made a TikTok, and she was talking about her being there for her kids. Single mother, works full-time job, plus goes to school, plus she's a TikTok, whatever you call them. And she still makes time to volunteer. She still makes time to go to the kids' shows. I'm talking about my grandkids. She still makes the time because to them, it matters. My kids, my daughters, just yesterday, they set up a movie night where I'm busy working and they're, hey, Dad, you got to come and do this. You got to come and do this. And it's important for you to just take the time. Okay, the bills will always be there. Work will always be there. Making money will always be there. So take some time and spend it with your kids. You need to make moments stand out. I mean, really stand out in your family. You know, you need to pay attention. You need to know what's going on, even though it can become mundane and it really doesn't feel that important to you. It's not about what's important to you in the macro. Maybe the micro, but in the macro, it's about what is important to them. So teaching your kids how to ride a bike, teaching them how to fish, sitting down and watching a movie with them, being there when they, go through a breakup, or talking to them when they get good grades on their report card, or when they figured something out, or just walking up and doing something. Now, with all my kids, sometimes my boys might get a little embarrassed because I tell them I love them. When I leave their presence, I tell them that I love them. I don't care if they're at school. I don't care if they're with 20 friends, and I will give them a big hug and say, I love you. Because it's important. Not only is it important for them, their friends should know what a strong man looks like. A strong man doesn't care what other people think when he's dealing with the people that he loves. Now, I respect my father a lot. And I asked my dad, looking for anything out there, I was like, if you could change one thing, just one thing about your life, what would it be? Now, my dad was a good dad, but he was a very busy man. He is successful. He's happy. He's got a wonderful wife, nice house, nice vehicle. I mean, he's got it all. But I asked him, and he said, one thing I would change is I wouldn't have worked as much. Now, coming from a son of a dad like that, it almost knocked me over. It took the wind out of me because his values had changed as he got older. And as he looked back on his life and he decided what was important and what was not important, or at least putting a list together of what is most important, what his goals were, it had moved because the most important thing to him was creating memories. Because he told me, when you get older, when the gold on the money kind of fades away, it's not so shiny anymore, and you have all the things, the only really thing that you really have are the memories that you created. And, I started thinking about that. And when I think about our Christmases and birthdays, I remember some, but very few of the presents that I got at any time. But I'll tell you what, I can go through almost every single year of Christmas and tell you a memory about Christmas, about something that happened, something that was funny, a talk that we had, something that was going on, I can remember. And it shrinks the importance of money down. And when you start shrinking the importance of money down, what you start seeing is that the importance of time starts getting bigger. So don't miss out on things. Go to as many, life's going to get in the way. It is what it is.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa Welcome Bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Life happens sometimes, but try to get to their sporting events and their recitals. And if you got anniversaries or you got family reunions or birthdays or any of that, do everything you can, not only for your children, but for your spouse. Make sure that you're on the same wavelength with your spouse. Guys, as far as being a father and being a husband, it is your job to go over and above. You are the leader within the home. You are your daughter's hero, and you are exactly the man that your sons are going to be. Now, that should scare the hell out of you guys, that it is that important. Okay, you are going to be your daughter's hero. Your daughters are going to pick a guy that treats her like you treat your wife. And the sons are going to look at you and they are going to become a mini version of you. That is a fact. You can look at the statistics. That's just the way that it happens. Okay. I would also say that you have to show interest in your spouse and kids. If you're one of those guys, and let's say you have an addiction to something, and your wife ain't it. You guys know what I'm saying. You got a serious issue. You got a problem. I've been with my wife for 22 years now, and I still think that she's the hottest chick I ever met. She's still my best friend. I still get those feelings. Do you know what I'm saying? And sometimes if you don't feel that way anymore, or you've lost interest or something, there's a reason for that. And usually it's not them. Most of the time it's us. Okay, and you have to learn how to get back to the place where you remember her in a way, your point of view. A lot of it is your point of view. And your kids, I see so many guys all the time that have these outstanding, awesome kids, and they don't want to spend time. They'd rather go out with their buddies and go drinking. They'd rather, go do this, go do that. When they come home, kids are meant to be seen, not heard, that type of thing. That doesn't work anymore. If you want to do what you should do, if you want to take full responsibility of the things that you've created or building your legacy, you're going to make sure that you have interest in your spouse. And if things aren't better, water the lawn. Make them better. Now, I know logically, it can be really, really hard to fix things or to work on things. But if you're going to be a good spouse, you need to work on things. You need to do it logically. You need to decompartmentalize the things that are blocking you. And if it has to do with your kids, you're not showing interest in your kids, that's very odd for me. I can't imagine a father not wanting something to do with kids or being interested in what the kids are doing or how they're doing or how they're feeling or how they are developing into this machine that is going to be successful and happy. But you need to pay attention and you need to show interest. You really should every once in a while write down, just questions. You know what? ChatGPT, 5 questions I should know about my child. What's their favorite color? What's their favorite cartoon? Why is that their favorite cartoon? What's their favorite class at school? Why is it their favorite class? What interests do they have that you don't have that maybe you can get involved in to make sure that they know that, hey, we think you're cool. It gives them self-confidence. It makes them be better when it comes to loving other people, not being a bully, things like that. So very, very simple. Be there when it matters. Show interest in your spouse and your kids. Just do it. Don't make excuses. Don't be an excuse maker. You know, the excuse makers of the world, they live in mediocrity and below. And if you want your child to be mediocre, if you want them not to have a future, just keep being mediocre because they're going to follow you. You have to be the role model. You have to do what you preach. Practice what you preach. Don't expect your children to follow your advice. If you're not doing it, don't be a do as I say, not as I do person, because it never, ever works. Real men, strong men, men that are renowned, they're accountable for the things that they do. They're responsible for the things that they do. They set standards for themselves. They set standards for their children and for their wife. And they live a life of principle. And now I know some people, oh, he's preaching. I'm not preaching. I'm telling you the truth. Don't ever lie in front of your kids. Don't ever do it. They need to recognize the importance of honesty. Okay? When you're honest with everybody and when you can actually accept responsibility, you know, be resilient when things go wrong, those are things that are learning other people's behavior. It is what it is. Sometimes I just jump in and do the dishes. Why? Not to be husband 101, but because I'm showing my kids that sometimes you just jump in and you do stuff. It is what it is. We're all family here. Or writing a note to your wife of 22 years, which some people will think is crazy, but just, hey, I love you, still think you're hot. You know, we got a date for next, something like that. Don't be afraid to let your kids see something like that. You want your boys to treat a lady like a lady, right? You want your daughters to see it because they should expect to be treated like that when they get older. I'll tell you what you don't want. You don't want some guy calling your daughter names and screaming at her and making up excuses and blaming her for things, or God forbid, putting their hands on her. Would you? You don't want that for your daughter. If you wouldn't want it for your daughter, you don't do it to your wife. If you want your boys, if you want their life to go easier and better, you better show them the ropes of how to treat a lady. And while you're doing that, you're also preparing them to be good fathers for their sons and daughters, for your grandchildren. Encourage honest communication with your children. If they're going through something, you should want to know about it. You don't have to agree with it. And there gets to be those teenage years where it drives you crazy because you've already made some of the mistakes that your children, your teenage children, that they want to go and make. And no matter how much you do, they're still going to go do their thing. But you still have to be honest about it. You still have to encourage, hey, come and talk to me about this. Don't think that there's a wall between us. Don't think I should be the person that you can confide in no matter what. And then it leads to avoid judging or criticizing that communication, that thought process. Now, there are certain things that are outside the expanse of the principles that a family lives by. Those criticize, but give a reason for the criticization. Tell them why this isn't good. Now, sometimes, and every father out there knows this, there are going to be times where pain is going to teach them because they don't listen. They don't fall within the boundaries of protection that you made, but that is completely normal. You did it. I'm sure that your dads did it, and I'm sure their dads did it. That is just part of life. So be very careful about judging them or criticizing them unless it falls outside the boundary of the principles that you've laid down for them to be good men or women. And now, this whole time, you should be at the same level as your wife with all of these things. Don't ever criticize your wife in front of your children. Don't ever tell her she's wrong. Even if she is wrong, you don't say it in front of the kids. You talk about it later away from the kids. And I know some guys are going to say, well, she does it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We are two different vessels, and we're built two different ways, and our responsibilities are two different things. Leadership is an honor. An honor to be a good leader. But leadership has many responsibilities that don't feel like honor. Leadership sometimes requires sacrifice. And that is especially hard when you're dealing with a wife, okay? You know what wives are really, really good at? Wives are very, very good at pushing your buttons because they know what bothers you. If you get into a war of words with your wife, I'm telling you right now, you're going to lose, okay? They're better at that than we are, okay? So being a leader means you lead yourself out of that situation and talk about it later where logic can be used instead of emotion. You see how that works? So just be careful with that. Be there when it matters. Show interest in your spouse and kids and let them see that you have interest. Be a role model. Do the things that you say. Practice what you preach. Encourage with your wife. Encourage with your kids. Open and honest communication. My daughters will come and tell me about guys they're thinking about dating or problems they're having with dating. And I'm glad I have that relationship with my daughters. I really, really am glad. Now, I hear stuff I don't want to hear. I promise you that. But that allows me to give them at least wisdom, at least ways to protect themselves. At least I know what's going on. And I just let them talk. And I try very hard to let them get through everything because I'm actually listening. And I don't judge. And I don't criticize until later because there's emotional boundaries that you can't go in at the moment in that time. That's a whole nother show. But make sure that you're carving out time for your family. Remember, time is your greatest asset. Carve out time. Take a little bit of wisdom from my father and say, you know what? I wish I wouldn't have worked so much. As you get older, create the wisdom to make sure that you can make enough money while saving time for the things that really matters, like creating memories with your family. Now, out of all the good men that I have seen be good husbands, that I have seen be good fathers, that I have just seen be good men, one thing that you notice with them is with good family values. You know, you observe your holidays and, you know, your religious things and, you know, maybe cultural rituals and family traditions, things like that. Good men are always making traditions, building new traditions, cherishing the old traditions. It can be very, very simple. It can be going to church on a special day for whatever. It can be that. It could be like my family. They get together as a family and we make lefse. Okay? We celebrate our birthdays. We create memories. We create tradition. Because in the end, that's literally your legacy. And your children are going to see it. And your children are going to get instilled in them family values. Not what the society says is okay. It's what the family tradition says is okay. And within family traditions, most people don't see it this way, but family traditions provide safety for our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. Anyways, I didn't want to make this too serious, but I think this was important to talk about because I see a lot of men out there working their fingers to the bone, not taking time for their family, for their kids. And you can have all the stuff in the world, but if you don't have anybody to share it with and you don't have anybody to share happiness with, success feels like a ball and chain. It doesn't feel good. All right, folks, I am Jeremy Hanson. Thank you for listening to We Are the Hansons. Check out the website. If you'd like to email us, you can email us at wearethehansonfamily@gmail.com. wearethehansonfamily@gmail.com. Go out, be great, do more than mediocrity. And remember, success and happiness is not a destination. It is our journey of life. Thank you.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.